Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with heavyweight Otto Wallin back in action September 30th. Otto, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. All the better for speaking to yourself. Otto, just quickly before we get into the fighting talk, I checked out your social media recently just to put up some questions. I didn't realize you're a dog fosterer. How did you get into that, and how much enjoyment did you get out of that?
I just like dogs, and I never had my own. And then actually, I found this shelter here in New York on Instagram, and they are run by the city, so they take in all animals, and they don't have the they can't say no to any animal, so they're always overcrowded, and so they need to get the dogs out unless or otherwise they can put down and being in a very stressful environment. So it's a nice thing, and you help out. I like dogs, and you can help a dog get out of the shelter, hopefully get adopted. So it's a nice feeling when it happens.
No, it's a lovely thing to do indeed. And not only are you doing the dog fostering part, we're also looking to foster a win September 30th against Murat Gassiev. Nice feeling to be back in training for a fight and not just ticking over.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a tough couple of years with no real fight, so I'm so happy about that I get this opportunity now, and I've known about it for a little bit, so I'm in good shape. Training has been going really well, and I'm really looking forward to it. And it's such I get such a different feeling in my belly when I have a real fight like this. So it's nice, and get very motivated by it.
It sounds like you got the focus to get the win. How long have you got your eye on Murat?
Well, I've probably known about this fight for, I don't know, since the first reach out, maybe 10 weeks to the fight. So over a month now, I've known about the fight.
What do you think of him as a fighter in terms of his performances that you've seen of him?
I think that he's a pretty good fighter. He was a good cruiserweight. I think he was a unified champion, if I remember right.
Yeah.
He's 30-1, I think. Only lost to Usyk, so no shame in that. But I think that it's a good fight for me. It's a good style, I think. And we see he's had 4 fights at heavyweight, and against no real competition. He has had a quick knockout, so we haven't seen too much of him at heavyweight. But I think it's a good fight for me, and we see what he can bring to heavyweight.
Is the game plan somewhat written for you in a sense in how Usyk dealt with him, or will you look to deal with him in your own way?
I think I would look to deal with him in my own way. Usyk showed one way how to beat him, and that worked really well for him. I think Usyk and I, we might have some similarities, that I'm a southpaw, uh, some similarities, but we're still different fighters, and we're good at different things. So I think that he showed how he could beat him in a nice way. So of course I'm looking at that, but there's also other ways, and we see some things that I can exploit with him.
Who's the favorite in the fight?
Hopefully me.
What do you think the public think?
Well, I don't know. Looking at my social media, everybody thinks I'm gonna win. Looking at his, they probably think that he's gonna win. But I think that I should be the favorite. I'm a good heavyweight. He was a good cruiserweight, and I think that's all you need to know.
Outside of his loss to Usyk, he's not had anything other than an early win via stoppage or KO for more than 7 years. Is that a concern for you, that power?
No, I mean I've been fighting big punches all my life, and been in sparring with them and heavyweights. So yes, he's a good puncher, but you got to be ready for that, and try to take that away. And I know how to do that, so I'm not too worried about that.
Do you think his power will translate over into the heavyweight division? You mentioned he's had fights at heavyweight, but not at that level, not at your level. And when you go to higher levels, sometimes the power doesn't carry through the levels. Do you think it will? Do you think it won't?
Well, we don't know yet. We haven't seen him in any real fights at heavyweight. It looked like these guys just went in there and they were kind of beat them beforehand. So I guess we're seeing this fight. I feel confident, and if his power gonna translate or not, we'll see. I don't know.
You're saying you have the skills and abilities to, defang his power and it won't be a factor in the fight. But from the fighters you fought or sparred, who has had the heaviest punch that you've taken? And do you think if he lands one on the chin, you'll be able to take it anyway?
I would probably say You know what? When I was in Denmark, I sparred a lot with Mickey Nielsen. He was a cruiserweight actually, and he was a really big puncher. But I think that Joshua sparred with him. He's a really good puncher. This was in 2016, and also Zhang. I sparred him a few times, so he's also a good puncher.
Where does a win, as you plan to get from your perspective on September 30th, where does it put you in terms of getting those big fights that you want?
I think I would be in a great position. I think I can. My position will really be improved. Uh, I'll be a promotional free agent, so I think that is a great position to be in, and I think it's very rare for somebody for a good heavyweight to be in my position now.
This is a battle for what a lot of the fans are calling, and I'm sure you'll call as well, two of the most avoided fighters, especially in the heavyweight division. What does it say about yourself to have the kind of focus, motivation to want to take on someone who's also avoided when other fighters don't want to take on the tests of the likes of yourself, the likes of Gassiev?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that I just really I want to be in these big fights. I want to progress my career, and so you gotta take some risks. And I'm just happy that I'm getting a big fight again. I'm so excited about it, and I want to show everyone that I deserve to be at the top.
You ever been to Turkey before?
Yeah, I've been there a few times. I was there as an amateur. I was there on vacation. It's a popular destination, so I like it there.
What do you remember from your amateur days?
Well, I was there for a fight and then a few vacations, so it was a good time over there.
Good time indeed. I'm sure you're looking to replicate some good times on September 30th. Just get your thoughts on a couple of other things, and I'll let you go, Otto. Look, big action coming up very soon in terms of the heavyweight division. Exhibition or a fight, we're not quite fully sure yet, but Tyson Fury, your old friend, is taking on Francis Ngannou. A fight you'll be watching?
If I have the time. I probably won't buy it, but I don't know if it's a pay-per-view or not, but we see.
What do you think about this crossover fight that Tyson Fury is taking on instead of maybe fighting someone in the WBC heavyweight rankings?
I think it's too bad because it's just an easy fight. It might be a big spectacle. They're making a lot of money, so I understand him from that point of view. But I mean, I would have liked him to see defend his title against somebody, a real boxer, and somebody ranked in the WBC.
You mentioned Anthony Joshua, someone you sparred in the past. It's not looking likely that the Wilder fight's happening now, and he's looking to get another fight in before the end of the year. Ruiz has thrown his hat into the ring. Who would you like to see him in against if we don't get this Wilder fight?
I don't know. Would like to see him in against myself, of course. But other than that, I don't know. It's not. I mean, we see maybe Zhang, if he wins again, maybe he can get a shot at Joshua. So we'll see what happens.
Do you think Zhang beats Joyce again?
Yeah, he should be the favorite, I think. I think that the first fight, I think it was close, but then the injury happened, of course. And Zhang did that, so I think he can do it again. And we'll see with Joyce that, he probably felt invisible going into that fight. And we see if that changed now. Maybe his confidence is down a little bit. He knows that he can get hurt. So it might change things.
Couple of final things I'll let you go. In the heavyweight division, we've seen a couple of positive performance-enhancing substances tests in the form of Robert Helenius and also Joe Cusumano in what was a real ding-dong of a battle against Adam Kaunaki. Just your thoughts on those two positive tests?
It's too bad, and also Dillian White, of course.
Yeah,
and I think it's too bad. It's bad for boxing, bad for the sport, and bad for the opponents. Look at Adam and Joe. I was there at that fight, and that was such a tough fight for Adam. Went down hard in the first round, came back up and fought for 8 rounds maybe, and it was such a tough fight. And he took so much punishment in that fight, and then to find out that the guy had been using steroids it's not a good thing. And he took some real damage, and that's irreversible, I'm sure. And tough, and tough for him also that he lost against Hellenius. Took some real damage there in 2 fights and was knocked out. So, you know, I feel bad for Adam, and I hope these guys get real long suspensions.
It's looking likely if we don't get the undisputed fight, it'll be Usyk versus Hrgovic. Do you think Hrgovic can do anything to dethrone Alexander Usyk?
You never know in heavyweight boxing. I think Usyk is a very good boxer. Hrgovic, he's also a good boxer. He hasn't looked that great lately, but you never know. Styles makes fights, and we'll see. But Usyk will be a big favorite.
Who's the fighter that you've got in mind that you want to face ideally? You get the win over Murat Gassiev. Who are you aiming for?
Well, if I could pick, it would be either Usyk or Fury because they have the titles. Other than that, you know, I'm ready for big fights. So I just want any big fights that can be made. I'm there for it.
Your response is good and will be accepted very well by boxing fans because you said you're looking for titles. Jared Anderson said recently he's not really bothered about the titles. He'd rather have the money. Why aren't you thinking more about the money and rather thinking about the titles? Why are you different?
I'm sure he's thinking about the titles too, but I think it comes hand in hand. I think that the titles is what really brings you a legacy. But I mean, if you win a title, you win the money too. So it goes hand in hand. And I'm also thinking about money, of course. I think it's a big part. I put so much into this, and you know, like now, I haven't had a real fight in 2 years. I haven't made any money, so it's tough. But I'm fighting to be a world champion, and that's what I want to do. And then if that happens, then I think the money will follow.
A lot of people want to see you reach that goal. After I leave the final word with you, what happens on September 30th against Murat Gassiev?
Most important, got to get the win and show everyone that I belong at the top. And then I think there'll be some really good times ahead for me.
Really good times indeed. Thank you for speaking to Seconds Out. Much appreciated. I'll let you go on with the rest of your day. Thanks, Otto.
Thank you.